All right, today we are breaking down a huge topic, how data is completely changing the game in marketing and customer experience. We're going to move past all the guesswork and show you a clear, evidence-based way to think about growth. So let's jump right in. But first, let's just start with the problem that, we've all been on the receiving end of. We get bombarded with ads, with emails, but think about it. How many of them actually feel like they were meant for you? That feeling, that disconnect, that's the sign of a huge problem in a lot of modern marketing. And that feeling isn't just a feeling. It's got a number attached to it. A whopping 71% of customers say they get frustrated by impersonal brand experiences. This isn't just some small annoyance, right? It's a real threat to a company's loyalty and trust. These days, personalization isn't some nice-to-have bonus. It is the absolute baseline expectation. So, what happens when you get it right? What's the reward for closing that gap? Well, the results are pretty dramatic. We're talking about a return on investment that is 5 to 8 times higher than old-school generic marketing. This isn't a small bump. This is the difference between seeing marketing as just another cost and turning it into your #1 engine for growth.
Okay, so to really understand this, we're going to follow a clear 5-part roadmap. We'll kick things off by defining the opportunity. Then we'll get into the core skills you actually need. After that, we'll look at the tools of the trade, map out a learning path, and then wrap up with what I think is the most important part, the human-centric mindset that holds it all together.
Let's start with Section 1, the data-driven opportunity. This is all about taking something most companies are already sitting on, tons of data, and turning it from this forgotten, untapped asset into a real, unbeatable advantage. So what does data-driven even mean in the real world? It's pretty simple, actually. It's about using customer data to make every single interaction, from the first ad they see to the last email they get, smarter and way more relevant. It's a huge shift from marketing based on gut feelings to building strategies based on actual evidence, and that is what creates real loyalty.
And here's where it gets really interesting. A full 87% of marketers know that data is this critical, underutilized asset. They get it. But most of them are really struggling to actually do anything with it. It's kind of like having a garage packed with fuel, but you don't have an engine. Closing that gap between knowing you should use data and actually using it, that's where market leaders are born.
So that brings us right to Section 2, your core competencies. Because knowing why this stuff is important is one thing, but the how, well, that comes down to a very specific set of skills. Let's take a look at what they are. Everything really starts with these pillars. First, you have to be able to segment your customers into groups that actually make sense. Then, you analyze their behavior to figure out what they really need. From there, you can automate your campaigns and constantly test what's working and what's not with things like A/B tests. And of course, wrapping around all of this is ethical data governance, because trust is, without a doubt, your most valuable asset. Let's just zoom in on one of those for a second. Customer journey mapping. This is where you really try to step into your customer's shoes. You trace every single interaction they have with your brand, from the first Instagram ad they saw to a support ticket they filed 6 months later, all to find those friction points and, more importantly, those opportunities to make their experience better. And here's a super simple look at that journey in action. So a customer might first hear about you on social media, right? That's awareness. Then they hop over to your website to do some research. That's consideration. They finally make the decision and buy through your app, purchase, and then a personalized follow-up email that drives retention. See how each stage is a unique touch point? The data from one stage is what makes the next one work. Okay, moving right along to Section 3, essential tools of the trade. Having the skills is great, but you need the right tools, the right arsenal, to turn those skills into insights you can actually use, especially at scale. So this is a snapshot of a modern marketer's toolkit. You've got things like Google Analytics telling you what people are doing on your website. Then a CRM like Salesforce helps you orchestrate personalized campaigns based on that behavior. Visualization tools like Tableau help you make sense of all the noise so you can spot trends. And then you have tools like Hotjar that give you qualitative data like heat maps to understand the why behind the clicks. They all work together like an ecosystem, turning all that raw data into a story you can understand. And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, a structured learning path. I know, all these tools and skills can feel a little overwhelming, but the path from being a novice to an expert is actually more structured than you'd think. Here's a roadmap that makes it feel totally manageable. You see, it follows a really clear progression. You start with the basics, learning your metrics, maybe getting certified in a core tool like Google Analytics. From there, you move on to applying that knowledge, mastering automation and A/B testing in a platform like Salesforce. And then the advanced level is all about strategy, using AI for really sophisticated personalization and learning how to forecast the financial impact of your work. Each stage builds directly on the one before it. And now for our final section, and it's a really important one, the human-centric mindset. Because honestly, beyond all the data, all the tools, and all the analytics, there are the skills that allow you to actually connect with other human beings. The key point here is all about balance. The analytical side, the hard data, that's only half of the equation. You absolutely need the human side. Strategic thinking to connect what the data is saying to your business goals. Communication skills to tell a clear story with the numbers. And, most importantly, empathy. Empathy is what lets you understand the actual people behind all those data points so you can create experiences that genuinely connect with them.
This quote just sums it up perfectly. Data tells you what people are doing, what they clicked on, what they bought, where they dropped off. But empathy is what helps you understand why. And when you combine the what with the why, that's how you go from just optimizing clicks to building real, lasting relationships with customers.
So, there you have it. We've walked through the opportunity, the key skills, the essential tools, a clear path to learn it all, and the crucial mindset you need to succeed. You have the complete roadmap. The only question left is, are you ready to start driving growth?